Welcome to the Bits of Good Bootcamp. Today we're going to be talking about JavaScript arrays. There's quite a bit to learn about them, and they're a very powerful tool to help you when you're doing JavaScript development, so it's worth taking a separate video to go through these. First of all, really basic, if we're creating an array, we use just typically the literal declaration with square brackets, and then we put our elements in. And we also have whatever our array dot length is how we can find out how many elements are in an array. So it's pretty basic there. Now, indexing into an array, it's just as you would imagine. We can put in a value. Anything we can also evaluate as JavaScript and inside of these square brackets, and so this is going to give us the last element because we're doing the length of the array minus 1, so that's going to give us the last element. So either you can give a literal number or evaluate a JavaScript definition to index into an array. In order to loop over an array, instead of making just a regular for loop in JavaScript, we actually have the ForEach function that we can use. So this is pretty useful. Here you see the ForEach function is going to print out every element of the previous array that we had, as well as the index. And so the callback function that goes inside of here takes an item, the index, and the array. And so you can choose to just use the item and not use the index and array. It's really up to you, but it does give you all three. And if you choose to only use the item, you don't actually need to provide these. You can just say function item and then console.log item. Now if we wanted to add an element to the end of an array, a really convenient way to do that is the array name .push. So in this example we have fruits.push is adding orange to the end of the array. And in the opposite direction, if we wanted to remove something from the end of the array, we can use pop. And so pop is going to remove the last element of the array and give that to us in our new, in the return value there. If we want to remove something from the front of the array, so this is kind of the inverse of pop, we can use shift, and that's going to remove something from the front of the array. If we want to add something to the front of the array, we use unshift, and that'll add something to the front. If we want to find the index of an item, and this is separate from something we'll see a little bit later. This is literally, we are providing the item and we just want to find where exactly does that match. Then we can use index of, and then again the item we're looking for, and so it'll return the index of that. So here we're looking for banana, and this is 0, 1, and so it returns 1. If we want to remove an item from an array, we can use the splice operator. The important thing is that we need to know the position of the item. So in this example, pos, this variable, actually comes from the previous slide, and that's the position of the banana object. So we want to remove banana from this array. So we're going to say we want to splice from that spot, wherever the banana index is, and we want to remove one item. That's what this second one is here. And so it's going to give us, the fruits array is going to now look like this, and then we will remove that item and that will be returned to us. We can also remove multiple items as well. So in this example, what we're going to do is we're going to start at index 1 and we're going to remove 2 items. So this should remove turnip and radish. And so as we can see, when we call vegetables.splice with pos as being 1, which is the index that we're starting at, and being the number of elements we're removing, and so we will get vegetables to now have just 2 elements, cabbage and carrot. And then the removed items, this value here, is going to have the items that we removed. If we wanted to make a shallow copy, we can use the slice operator, and that'll just give us a shallow copy of an array. So this can be useful for sometimes, but the important thing to keep in mind is that this won't be a deep copy. So if you have an array of objects, you're just going to get a new array of references to the same objects. It will not make a deep copy of those objects. Filter is a pretty useful thing, and so what we can do here is provide a callback function, and that callback function will be run on the entirety of the array, and anything that evaluates with that callback function to true will remain in the results, and anything that evaluates to false won't make it through. So here in this example, we have our callback function here, which is an arrow function, an ES6 feature. If you don't remember what arrow functions are, you should either look it up on the Mozilla Developer Network, or you can look back at the last video and see there. So here, what we're saying is we're filtering for words that have a length of larger than 6. So this is our original words array, and we see that it's these last 3 items that should remain. And then we say our expected output is in fact those last 3 items. And it's important to note here that the words array wasn't actually mutated. The change happened in the results array, so it's actually returning a new array with the elements of the first array that passed this filter function. Oops. Find index is another pretty useful thing. So this is, I alluded earlier with the index of operator. This is a different way of doing it, except instead of passing in a literal item that we're going to search for, we're going to pass in a function that will evaluate to true, and then whenever that function evaluates to true, it's going to return the index at which it evaluates to true. So in this example, we see that we're looking for a number that is greater than 13. And in the array, we actually have 2 numbers that are greater than 13, but we're going to return the first one of those, which is why we get the expected output of 3. So that's 0, 1, 2, 3. That's a useful tool as well. ForEach, we saw this one earlier. The important thing I wanted to point out here is that ForEach doesn't actually return anything. So you see here that there's nothing being set equal to on the left side of an equal sign on line 2. And actually, the return inside of the callback function is useless to us. We don't do anything with the return. This is just a way to iterate over everything if you want to check something, but you won't actually be able to return anything out of this. Now, if we are in a situation where we want to return things and generate a new array, we have the map function. So this is super useful, especially once we get to React. So in this example, let's see, we have this first array of numbers, 1, 4, 9, and 16. And we're going to map over that array, and we're going to multiply each number by 2. And again, I'm going to call attention to the arrow function here, and we have an explicit return here. So x times 2 is going to explicitly be returned into the new array, and so the map function returns a new array with each element being the result of the callback function. And so we can see that because each element inside of array 1 is going to be multiplied by 2, and then that's what we're going to get. We're going to get an array where each item in the first array is going to have the value of the callback function in that same index. So you see 1 times 2 is 2, 4 times 2 is 8, and so on and so forth. That's how the map function works. This is really useful again. And that's it.